And a very good evening to you. This week we are going to meet some very special people indeed. They are gullible, yes. Innocent, yes. Stupid in some instances. But enough for the studio audience, because tonight the Late Late Breakfast Show is all about the champions of the Whirly Wheel. Those truly brave heroes and heroines who we pluck from being ordinary BBC viewers and turn into TV stars. Yes, we've got the best of those spine-tingling, stomach-churning moments in the Whirly Wheel Challenge. We've not only got the very best, we've got two new challenges that will be happening live tonight, and also we have got the challenge that went wrong. But right now, what I'd like you to do is meet the man that we always send out on location to be with the Whirly Wheelers. We needed someone who would get into the thick of it, someone who would not be frightened, to be right on the very edge of disaster and danger. Somebody who was totally expendable. Mike Smith!
Don't take it off.
Mr. Edmonds, thank you very much indeed. I'd like to put my son Mark onto the Whirly Wheel, if I may. Is that at all possible?
Yes.
Hang on, I'll just put the mask on.
Good evening. Good evening.
Oh, you are a TV prankster, aren't
Yep.
you? You really are.
There goes your knighthood.
Now, what about these ordinary people?
Whirly Wheelers. Well, you see, I love them because they're the real people. I mean, they're not TV trained and all the rest of it, and I think they're really what makes each show as the weeks go by, because you really get hooked into, will they achieve what they've set out to do? We get about 8,000 letters each series that goes by from people who just want to come along to the show and take enormous risks. And there's a research team looks into it all, and they ring them up, they send them an application form, and they fill out the application form, so we know whether these people can swim, whether they've done a bit of flying or whatever. And then what we actually say to them, well, we're going to put your name on the wheel this week with the other 9. We know that you can swim. It will involve a bit of swimming, what you've got to do, you know. And then they go up there and they're chosen just out of that. They've got a 1 in 10 chance of coming up. But they don't know exactly what they're going to do. You know what the funny thing is?
What?
Most of the applicants are insurance clerks or bank clerks. Now, what is it about the financial institutions of this country that makes people want to jump off the top of buildings and things?
Is there, in your experience, sort of one quality that all Whirly Wheelers should have?
Stupidity.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll see you in a moment. Right, well, it was at the very beginning of the history of the Late Late Breakfast Show that we first met this lady, Sandra Crooks, and you went up on the trapeze, didn't you?
I did, yes.
And I think that is important, that it was right at the beginning of the whole Whirly Wheel saga. And in many respects, what you did was the first truly dangerous...
Daring
stunt.
thing.
Yeah, daring,
Yeah.
much better word, yeah.
Yeah. But I think to do something...
Much safer word, yeah.
Yeah, I think to do something like that, you have to get yourself keyed up and you think, well, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to have a go, and what the heck.
Well, you were trained at the circus, and you had a bad accident, didn't you?
On the Thursday. You see, I was trying to do a harder trick than I did. I was trying to catch the trapeze on the way back and couldn't see it. Went for the trapeze, caught it wrong, and landed in the net wrong, and knocked myself out. And everything was shaking, even my eyebrows. So I said, I've got to get back up there and do it. And the man that was catching me, Horst, his name was, he said, no more, no. And I said to him, if I don't get up that ladder now, I'll never do it again. So I did it again, and I did catch the trapeze on the way back. But I said, look, I want to enjoy Saturday when it goes out live, and God forbid, if anything went wrong and I fell on Saturday night, I didn't want to look stupid.
Well, you were very brave, and you had enormous courage to actually go through with that, and your boobs fell out. I I mean, this was a very important point in the history of the Late Late Breakfast Show. It has set the tone for the rest of the history of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rehearsed all week.
What, them falling out?
No.
Sorry.
No, they'd stayed where they were supposed to.
Yeah.
But then, live,
Yeah.
they fell out.
Yeah. I learned a new word. I didn't know they were called wangers.
My wangers.
Yeah.
Or bobscaronis.
Well, there's slightly more of you then than now.
I know, they've, everything's headed southwards.
Memories of 4 years ago. Here are your trapeze talents.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flying Salters and Sandra Crooks.
When you just said to me, then, Christ, did I have all that? I presume you mean courage.
No, I mean, I've lost so much weight since
It was
then.
brilliant. It was marvellous and a very important part of the Whirly Wheel story. Sandra Crooks, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And also, yeah, why not? Very brave lady. Also, very high up was the challenge for Andy Woodbridge. He had to go on a motorcycle, on a wire, a very long way above the ground. Mike.
Right, Andy's coming to the studio to join us here this evening to talk through it all. Nothing fell out of your costume in this, did it?
No, I hope not.
Now, I said earlier on that we checked their experience and make sure that, for instance, in your case, we made sure that everybody who was up for the Whirly Wheel on this could ride a motorbike. But it turned out that you hadn't ridden a motorbike for a long time.
No, 7 years. It's a long time, 7 years, not riding a motorbike.
Have you ridden one since?
No, it put me completely off.
I think it did. Now, we went down to Bewley for this in Hampshire. Do you remember the day down there?
Freezing cold, damp, horrible.
It was, I mean, most of the things we do during the winter on the Late Late Breakfast Show out of doors, it gets ever so cold, but on that particular day, it was very, very cold. And what I like about this particular type of challenge is the fact you're taking on the mechanical side of things. There's another unpredictable side to it. Trying to keep your body in control is one thing,
Yeah.
but you've got to try and control the machine as well, haven't you?
That's right.
Do you remember how it went?
We did stall it to start with, didn't we?
Yes.
And everything went pretty well. It was just one of them things. I suppose it was wet and horrible. And that was it. Frightening.
Well, take a look at the screen. We can relive that moment from 2 series ago. Andy Woodbridge on the wire.
Extraordinaire, the video man from Watford. Here he goes. Now, hanging off the bottom of the motorbike there on that trapeze is Eric. Andy, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah,
I think I've got a feeling this is part of the act.
here we go then.
Can you get it started again? Andy! Andy Woodbridge, you are a star. That is brilliant. This man is not giving
That was great. Did fear come into it? Because people say when you get on television, you know, the nerves of the live occasion takes over from that, and you don't really fear about the actual stunt.
Yeah, I did have a lot of fear on that one, actually. I didn't get high enough on the rope itself, which I should have done, but it's because I was so frightened.
So you were really, really scared on the show
Yeah,
that night.
really frightened.
Well, congratulations to you. You were a TV and video installer at the
I was
time.
at the time, yeah.
I understand
Not
we've
no more
managed to make you unemployed.
though. Yeah.
I don't think it was our fault, though.
No, it wasn't your fault.
All right, well, good luck, and I hope you can find some position. I mean, what about a motorcycle messenger rider?
No, that's too dangerous.
Andy Woodbridge, well done. Well done. Well, if we're
Already beginning to whet your appetite, and you feel that you ought to be a Whirly Wheeler in this series of the Late Late Breakfast Show, I'll be giving you the address that you can write off for an application form at the end of the show. On the other hand, maybe right now you'll lose all thoughts of doing that when you find out what we asked Judy Greenwell to do.
Yes, you asked me to abseil out of a helicopter from 200 feet up in the air, jumping out of the helicopter into thin air.
Had you done anything like that before?
No, I hadn't. In
Rock
fact,
climbing? I mean, anything high?
nothing high. Just climbing the stairs at home was the highest I got. And when BBC asked me if I had a head for heights, yeah, sure. It was only when I got 70 foot up in the cooling tower to start my training that I realised I hadn't got a head for heights, and I was scared.
The Army Air Corps at Middle Wallop did the training, didn't
They were wonderful.
Yeah.
The patience those guys had with me, particularly the Staff Sergeant Peter Heaton, who was my actual trainer. They were wonderful.
Didn't stop them playing a trick on you, though, at one point?
Oh, no, it didn't. No, well, that was... I was doing my first jump out of the helicopter, and I was dithering and being a wimp, and anyway, they decided, the Major Alan Wiles, he said, would it be better if we went down 100 feet? So I said, well, yes, OK, we'll try 100 feet. So we went down 100 feet. I got out, and apparently, as I got out, they went back up to 200 feet.
And I believe you kept a diary of the entire week.
Yes, I kept a diary as I went along. I made notes just for my own. And after about a week or so after it had all been finished, little things kept coming back to me, and I was making notes. And I thought, well, I'll make a little book for myself. So I've always got these things that I'll never forget. Amazing.
I don't know how anybody could forget this.
As you can tell, your helicopter awaits, Judy. Good luck, have fun.
Thank you, Noel.
And there she goes to the Lynx helicopter from Middle Wallop. You'll recognise that machine. It was one of the stars of Paris-London, London-Paris air race a few weeks ago. Is now climbing to a height of 200 feet. And the dispatcher, and indeed Judy's trainer, you see him there, is Staff Sergeant Peter Heaton. They reckon these ropes are good for 40 jumps only. The harness has a life of 10 years. And that was the bit that she wasn't looking forward to. She's now presumably getting her bearings. And it is a long, long journey down. Were you pleased, after all that training, were you pleased with your landing?
I knew you were going to ask that. That was the worst one I'd done all week, landing on my backside.
It was on your bum.
It was.
It still was jolly good. That looked dangerous, and of course it was. However, this was very much over-enthusiasm on the part of Lynette Newbury.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. She must come out. She must come out. She's got to come out, otherwise we're going to have to send the divers in. Come on, Lynette. She's got the manacles around her neck cord. Come on, Lynette. You can do it. Come on. Come on, Lynette. You can do it. She cuts the tapes. Off come the tapes. Off comes the lid. And here she comes.
We remember that one because we got an awful lot of stick for it. We did have a lot of complaints. The story behind it was that Lynette Newbury was trained all week, and she was so good at that particular Houdini escape, very much a Houdini illusion, that when we saw the rehearsal in the afternoon, we thought that maybe she ought to just act a little bit more tired than she was. However, we didn't bank on the fact that she's very keen on amateur dramatics. And she came out looking like a dead whale there, and the switchboard lit up, and people thought we had deliberately tried to drown her, and we got into a lot of trouble, and many people took it very seriously. Ludovic Kennedy, for one.
A scene shot live from this week's Late Late Breakfast Show, which many viewers found extremely distressing, in that they were led to believe by that hysterical commentary that the woman in the box, a mortuary technician from Nottingham, was in imminent danger of drowning.
And many people were objecting to the fact that we later admitted that it was an illusion and that she was perfectly safe and they had been caught out. They even wrote to the Radio Times about it. One way and another, it caused quite a bit of controversy. And it was all because of that historical commentary. No, of course, I mean hysterical. From that ludicrously hysterical man who's outside at the moment.
What do you mean? I never, ever get hysterical on this show.
Don't get worked up.
All right, I won't.
Calm down.
All right, I'll calm down.
What are you going to do now?
We have brought Lynette Newbury back. Good evening.
Good evening.
She's, of course, the mortuary technician from... She's genuinely... Are you not?
I am genuinely, yes.
A mortuary technician.
That's right.
So that's how you knew to take on the right appearance on the night. Yeah, got us all worried. Now, we're going to put you inside this crate here. This is the self-same crate we used before.
It is, yeah.
And what are you going to try and prove this time?
I'm going to get out in 30 seconds. No messing this time.
You're going to lose us our jobs, aren't you?
Yes.
I can tell. I have to say that I've been forced into doing this again, Noel. This was not of my choosing. Michael Grade wanted us to do this again to prove a point, and so he has kindly loaned us his indoor jacuzzi, which we've got here in the car park, just behind me. You can see it's a pretty large jacuzzi. I would say it's about 10 feet deep, and it's into there that you're going to go, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
Okay, let's get her inside. The manacles all in place there. You can see all those. Look. And let's get inside for this very special illusion, Houdini illusion. Remember when we did this on the show, it had not been done since Houdini did it. So on go these tapes. Take a close look at the tapes. They are proper cargo tapes that would be used for air cargo. Lynette down in the bottom there with our see-through panel, holes in the crate so that the water can come in and means it sinks nicely into the tank. Are we set?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, let's take it up. In the BBC car park, we've cleared all the cars out of the way, and we just have the crane in here to lift this up into this large tank of, I have to say, freezing cold water.
Now, Mike, no hysterical commentary, please.
Sorry.
Very calm and laid back.
Quite cold water. Quite cold. And in she goes. Now remember, we're looking for 30 seconds on this, so we'll put a clock up on the screen as soon as she gets in there. There's the 30-second timer. Let's get her down inside there. She's taking her last breath. Oh, no, I shouldn't have said that, sorry. I meant she's taking her last breath, you know, before she goes into the water, not her last breath. I hope. Anyway, she's in. And the clock's going. 23 seconds to go. Absolute doddle this. She'll be out in no time at all, so don't get panicked about it. If you've just turned on, this is the Late Late Breakfast Show. We are doing a Houdini illusion here. As I hate reading the Radio Times. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And out she comes.
Okay, get her out.
Out she comes.
Is she coming out?
And...
Where is she, Mike?
She's in the box, Noel.
Yeah. Do you think we could have her out, please? We don't want any more trouble from Ludovic.
No, she's fine. I think she's all right. She's still blowing bubbles out, so I think she's still okay. Why don't you come back to us in a short while, and we'll take another look at the problem in just a while.
Yeah. You sure she's all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just you carry on with the rest of the show, Noel. Don't worry about me.
Well, another one of the very different challenges. Sure she's all right? One of the very different challenges that we've had during the series involved these gentlemen in front of me, who first met under, I think they both admit, unfortunate circumstances at Stoke Mandeville Hospital. Both the gentlemen are paraplegics. We've got Simon here, Danny here. They were joined by Andy and showed us just really what you can do to overcome a disability. How did you have your accident, Simon?
I had quite a simple fall off an assault course, Noel.
And Danny?
I had a car accident.
So it can happen to anybody, but you two showed us tremendous guts along with Andy. We'll talk about something else that you did, which was absolutely marvellous in a moment. But what was the challenge?
Well, we had to perform what JCB's own dancing digger team called their trickiest stunt with the digger, which was to uncork a bottle of champagne with the bucket.
Now, they're pretty difficult things, Danny, aren't they?
Yes. About the hardest part of it is getting from the wheelchair actually up into the digger.
Yeah, they weigh about 7 tons and they cost a lot of money, so he said, please don't break them. I should have said hello to Dylan. I'm terribly sorry. I know he goes everywhere with you. It was a marvellous challenge, and it was a great example to all of us of what you can do if you really put your mind to it.
Welcome to Heathrow and the Skyline Sheraton car park, where we've got our 3 guys from Stoke Mandeville ready to perform stunts with excavators that you just would never have believed. The excavators each weigh 7.5 tons, and sense of balance is very tricky when you're in that sort of position there. Here comes Simon Barnes. He was the Whirly Wheeler we chose last week from Stoke Mandeville. And he's got Dylan the dog inside there with him, guiding him through the archway. Brilliantly done there, Simon. Well done. Inches to spare. Using hand controls here, he's now going to do what is regarded as the most delicate thing that one of these enormous excavators can do. He's going to try and uncork 2 bottles of champagne sitting on that table. And look at him do this. He could just wipe those out with one blow. He's going to be ever so gentle. Right, he's got it into the loops. Now up and pull, pull, pull. Come on, Simon.
Obviously a very different challenge. And what was the worst part about it?
Well, actually, it was looking at ourselves in the silly outfits which we were given to wear.
I thought you looked very sweet. On that programme, we mentioned something that you were going to do, which was a touch of history and also an amazing charity push from John O'Groats to Land's End. How did it go?
Fantastically well, actually, you know. We had a lot of support from a lot of people. In fact, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone who did help us there. But yeah, we got safely from John O'Groats to Land's End, and in fact have got just over £500,000 in a high-rate interest account for the International Spinal Research.
Did it go off smoothly, or was it as tough as it sounds?
Oh, it went off reasonably smoothly until we got way down the country where I happened to fall out, which wasn't too clever.
Yeah.
I ended up in a ditch. But we completed the course, and it was a very memorable event.
Right, and it was pretty memorable when they were our Whirly Wheelers. Well done, gentlemen, and give our best to Andy. However, let's immediately go back to the madman outside and find out. Smitty, how's Lynette? How's the lady?
I've got to say, I went down to Land's End for the finish of that Great British Push. It was really tremendous. It was one of the great days of my life. I mean, the people down there on the
Mike,
yeah.
Mike,
What?
there's a girl drowning behind you.
What? Oh, Lynette.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's still in there.
Do you think you could get her out?
Yeah, I don't think we've got too much of a problem getting her out. No, she's been in there for 4 minutes on one breath of air, and she's still moving. And in fact, I think the top is coming off. Yes, she's coming out now. She's done it. Oh, I'm getting hysterical. Sorry. Yes, she's done it. Lynette Ivry. We have a problem.
What?
Lynette's alive, but the fish is dead.
Oh, no. We'll have complaints to Angling Times now.
Yeah. Do you want it, or shall I keep it?
You keep it.
Oh, you're a man with such soul.
This is Guy Cleal. What did we ask you to do?
Well, you asked me to escape from a straitjacket, nearly 100 feet up, on fire, upside down, and to escape within 3 minutes.
Easy peasy. Very easy. What went through your mind when you watched the set the week before and you saw that challenge come up?
Petrified, absolutely petrified, but was looking forward to it.
Now, how do you train somebody to do that?
Well, it all started off with in Liverpool in a sports hall. First of all, 15 feet up, just hanging around upside down to get used to being upside down. And then I was taught how to escape from the straitjacket, the technique to escape. And then we went to 40 feet. And then finally, with the rope on fire, how to dodge the flaming rope coming down. And it was just going to be 40 feet. And BBC said, we've got a bigger crane. Do you mind if we use the bigger crane? No, what's a few more feet? Turned up in the car park the next morning, it was a 100-foot crane hanging from the car park.
It did look a big crane, didn't it?
It was a big crane. It was a big crane.
Had you done anything that would give you any sort of experience for a challenge like that?
No.
You're not a mountaineer?
I've done a bit of flying and parachuting and various things like this, but nothing in turning upside down, escaping from a straitjacket.
And what is the problem with hanging upside down?
The blood rushing to your head. So it wears you out as well, very quickly moving around.
Yeah.
No blood in your legs or anything. But,
and I seem to remember that quite a bit of the skill is the amount of movement that you can
That's
get,
right.
but not too much, so the wire starts to go, or the rope.
That's right. I don't want to stress the rope too much because it was burning. We didn't want it to give.
Yeah.
And also, it's a bit like a snake, shedding a skin.
Oh, how unpleasant.
Oh, it was unpleasant.
But this is the moment. Guy Cleal, 96 feet up, on fire.
Right, I'm ready, beamed up.
Have fun. You're going to try and get out of that within 2 minutes because more than that, the rope gets a bit dodgy. Good luck. Away you go. It's quite a climax to our season of Whirly Wheel challenges this week. We have the airbag below, one of Cyril Smith's scatter cushions. Now, all that wriggling around is necessary because what he's got to try and do is move his body within the straitjacket. There's no trick to the straitjacket. It's been done up properly. Oh, he's caught a little bit of the flaming rope. Brilliant. That's very quick. He's got his arms out. The instructions are to tell him when just to ease off a bit. It's incredibly tiring. That rope is burning very fiercely. He's done it! He's done it! Very good. Does that not give you funny feelings looking at that even now?
Very funny feelings. Can't believe it's me.
Yeah. And I believe that there was a nice little story about how you ended up on the Whirly Wheel.
That's right. My girlfriend at the time had to say, why don't you be a whirly wheeler? No chance of being picked to be a whirly wheeler. She said to wait for the form, we filled it in, and I said, I won't be a whirly wheeler, but if I am, we'll get married.
Oh.
Rash statement to make.
Oh, very rash statement. Did you keep your part of the bargain?
I did, and tremendous.
You got married?
We got married.
And it's still lasting?
It is, isn't
Oh,
it?
good.
Well, congratulations.
Well done, Clive. And from a very brave whirly wheeler, Guy Cleal, to the stunt that went wrong. Right, a mailbag, a genuine mailbag. In you go. Want to go first class or second? Jump up there, jolly good. A bolt. If you'd just like to check the bolts, Bob. Okay. Couple more. There. Right, Bob, check the top.
Can you lift this?
Okay. Lid up on the trunk. Can you give me a hand with this, Bob? I want to be the most perfectly ruptured man on television. Right, there you go. Still all right, Mukesh? Lid down. Oh, you're needing the key.
Okay.
Ropes. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Right, we're all set. He's in there, and now, if we've trained him correctly, he's going to be able to get out of there. The curtain up, please. And he has 10 seconds, starting now. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. What's going on round the back there? 39, 40, 40. He's there! This gentleman here, Todd Cody, was our expert on that particular training week. What went wrong?
Well, you'll understand I was behind the scenes on the technical side of these escapes. Gail Gordon, of course, presented the act. I can't give you too much of a trade secret away, but I think we were probably a little over-ambitious in trying to present 3 escapes into one. Gail Gordon is something of a perfectionist, and she insisted on using 100% genuine items of equipment. So everything she used was perfect. Nothing had been tampered with, no magic props, no illusion, the real thing. I can tell you that Mukesh made one small mistake, and that, coupled with a slight panic attack, cost him 32 seconds. Can I also remind you that it was your responsibility to tie up the trunk? And it seems that well, we...
Start passing it on to me, wouldn't I?
We checked it afterwards, and it seemed that you inadvertently tied a double hitch reverse maritime reef knot.
What a load of cods, Thank you very much, Todd. Well, that happened 4 years ago, or as we've just proved, it didn't happen. Mukesh, very nice to see you again.
Hello.
And how's it been going for the last 4 years? Training been good?
Well, it was happened last 4 years ago, and I had 1 day's training.
Oh, you've had 1 day training to do this now?
That's day's training, yeah.
How's he looking, Gail? Are you confident that we
Very
can...
well.
we
Yeah,
can
he's pretty determined to do it.
Yeah, he might be determined. He was determined in 1982, but will he do it?
I think so, yeah.
And what have we got on here?
We've got regulation hand shackles here.
Yeah.
Used by New York police, no less.
Well, to have these tested, we have got an impartial observer, and because we're a bit short of money, it's Mike Smith.
Yes. Yes, everything looks fine to me now.
No, over here, please, don't mind. Just cast your eyes over this pair.
Oh, shackles.
Shackles.
Right.
Make sure they're nice and tight.
Nice and tight, okay.
Tight and secure.
They're very
locked.
secure. They're locked.
That's good.
I haven't seen this before, so I'm fiddling
Yeah.
around a bit, but yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah.
Okay, I
Good,
can see we're
okay.
going to have problems with this one.
Right.
Now what?
Would you help Noel put...
What? He's only been here a few minutes. You're giving him the sack already.
Right, in you go, Mukesh.
We get all the play school
Nice and
jokes into this
gently,
programme.
There we go.
That's good.
Oh, mind his head.
Okay.
Well, good job you're short, isn't it?
Steel rod.
Talking to me, are you?
Oh, sorry.
Please. That's good.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm listening, sorry. Go on.
Okay. What's another there? Go
Have
through
another ring there.
Yes.
Ring through
Ring
there.
there.
If you'd like to get a padlock.
Get a padlock, Smitty.
Excuse me, padlock. Wench, thank you.
Always a hard man. And there's one more there.
Okay. Whoop. Now we'll secure.
You haven't got one of these bags we
padlocks.
can put Roland Rat in, have you?
Right.
Do this up
Yeah,
right?
come on, Smitty, do something.
I was already going to do some work. Okay.
That's
right.
good.
He can't work unless he's outdoors. It's hopeless. Put a roof over him, he goes to pieces.
Keep hold of the keys. That's
Keys.
good. Okay, we'll lift the trunk up.
There we have
Just drop that down.
the illusions.
He's still in there. Are you still in there?
Yes. You?
Yeah.
Mukesh.
Right, which way do you
You
want?
sure this is a male bag?
Yes, it is. Genuine.
You're positive it's not a female bag?
Oh. Which bit are you having?
I've got, I don't know what it is, but it's stretchy. You all right? All right, it was his tongue.
Mike, would you put that on there?
He'll come out very quickly, but he won't speak for the rest of his life.
There we go. Would you like to check that that's all right? You're meant to be the impartial observer, Smith.
And if he speaks with a high-pitched accent...
All right, we got the joke, yes. Have a
Keys.
key.
Give me the keys, give me the keys.
Okay, do you want to check those locks, Mike?
Oh, and now have I got to do these up? Look, you hold the... I can't hold everything round here. You hold the keys.
Okay.
Keep your hands off the rest of it.
Now, what size knots do you want to do? You want a round turn, 2 half hitches,
No,
sheep
just
shank,
as many knots. That's
sheep
fine.
bend,
That's good. Put your hand there.
tenderfoot wolf cub, as I was. Very.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
Are you happy with that?
I'm
It's secure,
me
locked.
ecstatic.
Everything's locked up. Okay. Can you lift the curtain, please? That's good. Okay.
I wouldn't have that curtain
As
in my
high as
room.
possible. That's good.
Where do you think we got it from? Right.
Oh, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't believe it.
4 years of training, he can do it now.
I don't believe it. That's Ben Kingsley.
Mukesh, many congratulations. Gail, thank you very much indeed. Well done, he did it at last. And hello, Mr. and Mrs. Rippon.
Well, no.
Stephen Denise. Yours was a shocking one. I could really relate to yours because I came down when you were doing the training. There's a terrible noise. It's a horrible environment. You did the famous Wall of Death, didn't you?
Yes.
Now, once again, what was that feeling that went through your mind when you saw the week before that you'd got something like that? I mean, instantly you saw it written on the wheel. You must have known what it was.
Yeah, well, we had a bit of a chat about what it was going to be at first. It wasn't until we showed the film that it really stuck in what I was going to do. And then when we got down there on the Monday to start the training, I thought there's no way I can carry this.
Right. We made a big play at the beginning of the show that all the Whirly Wheelers are researched to check that they've got some talent for what they're going to do, but you couldn't even ride a bike.
No.
He was the one that got through, I think, somehow. We missed you. So you had to learn to ride a bike and then get used to it. At some point, you have to go from there to the vertical.
Yeah, well, riding a bike, I didn't even think that I hadn't ridden a bike before. It was just, oh, am I going to do this?
Yeah.
So they went straight into the training of going round, getting over the dizziness that you get once or twice around the base, and then onto the track, and then onto the wall. And as I went through that stage of on the floor, I learnt a bit about riding a bike at the same time. And didn't fall off, so I was quite confident once I got on the floor. But it was a hell of a time trying to get on the wall.
And there's a peculiar safety aspect that you can't wear a helmet,
No
can you?
helmet, no. I've got to listen to Tommy as he stood in the middle of the track and take instruction from him. He's telling me when I'm going the right speed to go on the wall. Because if you're not doing the right speed, you could bring the back wheel off and come straight down.
Were you worried, Denise?
I was frightened for him.
I think there were a lot of people. It was a very, very tense show when he took to the wall of death.
Let's see Steve Rippon in action, live on the wall of death.
Gives you the shakes watching it again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But then it got very silly, didn't it? And this was the bit that I couldn't believe. On a live show, you must have been partaking of alcohol, because you went up as well.
On the handlebars, that's right.
What on earth possessed you to do that?
No.
Is this a feature of your married life, that anything you do, she tries to beat?
Well, I'm glad you got her back for what she did to me, so... I mean,
but you had a few rums, hadn't you?
Yes, I'd had a couple of rums.
A couple of rums, and then Tommy the trainer comes along with a splash bike, and this is what happened.
Boy, stop doing that.
Would either of you ever do it again?
yes.
You would?
If you haven't got one here, yes.
Well, outside the television centre at the moment, I wish we really did. Marvellous stuff. Steve and Denise Rippon, ladies and gentlemen. Brilliant. Well done. Steve Miller. And so to the Whirly Wheel. And it's a new one, as you can see, and it's really not much of a wheel. It looks more like a chainsaw, but we've gone very arty-farty this year. It does look very nice indeed, and there's still 10 names on it, and it can only stop in one place, I hope. And so one of these people will be joining us in a fortnight's time to perform a Whirly Wheel Challenge live. So who is it going to be? Let's give it a whirl. It was very nearly Stephen Biggs. Let's just have a look and see what Stephen would have got if his name had... Dive into danger. Better luck next time, Steve. But it stopped at Philip Bailey. Where an eagle dares. Philip Bailey, where an eagle dares. You'll find out more about that in a moment. Let's dial him up. I wonder if he's got any ideas while he's waiting for the phone to ring as to what Where Eagle Dares could be. We've got some interesting challenges for this series of the Late Late Breakfast Show, and we're extending the whole skill process and the daring aspect of it into a new and very exciting area. Philip Bailey is 31 years old. He lives in Morpeth. He's an ambulanceman. That'll be handy.
Hello?
Hello, Philip Bailey.
Yes.
Hello, Philip. 31 years old, lives in Morpeth. Is that in Northumberland or...
That's correct.
Northumberland. You're an ambulance man?
Uh-huh.
So you're used to plenty of blood around.
Well, not my own, hopefully, but never mind.
What sort of hobbies do you have, Philip?
Mainly photography.
Mainly photography?
Yeah.
What, underwater photography? Mountain photography?
Well, any kind, really.
Any kind. Do you ever do anything dangerous?
Well, done parachuting and riding motorbike and what have you, but...
Oh, well, that helps. Oh, well, that definitely helps, because Where Eagles Dare, do you remember the film Clint Eastwood, I think, was in it, Where Eagles Dare?
I do, yes, I remember it well.
Well, there was a very dramatic scene involving a cable car, and we are going to have you as the central hero in a cable car rescue. You're going to be trained to overcome, hopefully, the height and one or two other aspects of a cable car rescue. Okay.
Thank you, Wonderpants, then.
I beg... I beg your pardon, don't repeat it. We'll give you a great time, and you're very lucky in this series. You've got a whole fortnight to train for this.
Oh, splendid.
Everyone else normally gets a week, but we'll see you on October the 4th with the Great Cable Car Rescue live, okay?
Roger.
Noel, if you don't mind. Cheers, Philip.
Ta-ra.
Bye. Sounds a nice guy. Sounds very cool and calm. Wait till you see what happens on October the 4th. Lisa Carpenter was one of the bravest of our Whirly Wheelers. She's outside at this moment with that man Smitty.
Yeah, we're out in the old BBC car park again. It's the only time I ever get in the BBC car park is on nights like this. This is Lisa, who you may remember did a tightrope act inside a hotel across a swimming pool towards the end of the last series, right?
It's lovely and warm as well in there, yeah.
It was very warm in there, wasn't it?
Yes.
Now, you're going to do another tightrope act for us now, aren't you?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to walk across and halfway along, stand on a stool and hopefully balance there.
Hopefully.
Well, if I don't, I'm going to be in trouble, but...
You're going to have a sore head,
yeah,
aren't you?
that's right. So I'm going
You've
I've got some men to catch me anyway.
Well, you've got some supporters here. Can you introduce us to your family here?
Yeah, this is my sister Tracy. My mum's on holiday in Greece, so she can't quite make it.
Probably the best place to be.
This is my Uncle Dave, and this is my boyfriend Tim,
David.
who's got to put up with my antics.
Tim, who's putting up with it all tonight.
Yeah,
right, well, look, we'll leave you to go and get ready in just a moment.
then.
But just to remind you of the time that she did her tightrope act, this was it at the Skyline Hotel. Lisa Carpenter from Bristol, who, a bit shaky there at the moment, a bit shaky. The safety wire is not holding her up. It is there in case she does slip. And she has slipped. She's bruised herself quite a few times in training. But she's never done anything like this before. You can see she's just taking it a bit steady now, because if she doesn't keep her sight dead ahead at the ladder in front there, then it all starts to get a bit dizzy for her. Got to keep that eye line up.
This must be another first for us. I don't believe that any ordinary member of the public has had that chance to do that before, have they? And that is amazing.
In seconds, she's ahead. Right, you can see her there. She's at the top. This is now live. We are now live, and she's on top of the high wire here in the BBC car park. Now, look along that high wire, because there's some crucial stuff there. You can see this pole going up behind me here. That's just catching the chair at the moment, and she will give a signal when she wants that pole taken away, so that the chair is freestanding on the wire. Now, the other thing that I should point out to you is there, the wires coming up from her belt. That is the lunge. Now, that's there as a safety wire. If she feels confident enough, she will be disconnecting that lunge as she moves along. So, Lisa, are you happy?
Yes.
She's happy. You take it in your own time. I've got Tim here watching with me, the boyfriend. Does she worry you, Tim?
Not a lot. I've got to learn the putter with it these days. That's a bit worrying.
Well, it's the bit when they get out in the middle and there's a point of no return that always frightens me. And she has to make sure she doesn't stare into the spotlights around here as well, because that could dazzle her quite badly.
That suit's dazzling me.
Right. Oh! A bit of a slip there. She's about to cast off the pole. We'll hear her shout any moment. I think that she's happy. And I have to say at this point that this act has never been done in Britain before by any professional or amateur high wire act. This is a first you are watching. positioning herself. And thumbs up. Tim, she's taking the safety wire off. Is this a good idea?
I don't know. I think I'll run over to underneath the line.
No, you stay right where you are. She's giving you the thumbs up there. You're all right tonight. Listen. Now, she says, away comes the pole. There she goes!
Yeah, good. I've seen that before. That's good.
You've got a few words to say, Jordan. Come on over. Right, all we're going to do now is get her off the chair. She grabs hold of the rope. And she has her white knight to meet her. Tim, you give her a hand down off the rope. Back on Earth, Lisa Carpenter, she does it again.
Have you thought of taking this up professionally?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Hang on, you come down here. What do you say to that?
No chance, no.
I'd like to have balanced a little bit longer if possible, but, you know, wind and everything.
Oh,
Anyway,
well, we didn't hear anything in here.
Beans for tea, the BBC food, you know, is atrocious, but never mind.
Lisa, thanks once again for doing that.
Okay,
Congratulations, one
thank
of our
you.
star Whirly Wheelers. Lisa Carpenter, marvellous
Thanks.
lady. Honey, Mike. Well, possibly this week on the Late Late Breakfast Show, we have managed to whet your appetite. I'll be giving out the address in just a little while. If you would like to write to us, we send off an application form to you, and you fill it out as honestly as possible, and you could become one of our Whirly Wheel stars of our 86-87 series. Don't forget, Mike did point out that 8,000 people wrote to us last year, so we're not guaranteeing anything, but you could be one of the stars of the Whirly Wheel this series. Just before I give you that address, we've got a couple of new features coming up soon. We've got a claim to fame. If you've got a particular talent, for example, I know of a small boy who can blindfold identify the sound of passing motor cars by just listening to the sound of the engine. It's an exciting and no doubt very useful talent. We've also found an old man who can stand on his head and then fall to earth smashing a beer can. If you've got those sort of talents, we would love to hear from you. And also each week, throughout this winter on the Late Late Breakfast Show, we're going to be issuing the Golden Gauntlet. It's our own challenge, all sorts of things going on, but for example, do you think you could establish a new British record for stretching your wife's knicker elastic? It's all very serious, sensible and mature stuff, all the kind of thing you'd expect from the Late Late Breakfast Show. Here's the address, Late Late Breakfast Show, BBC TV Centre, Wood Lane, London W12 8QT. Next week I've got a golden egg special for you. I'll tell you about our special password phone call. Whatever happens, don't miss it, because you'll love it. Good night.